Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Respected today's chief guest, Mr. Valluri and Mrs. Valluri, professors, dean, associate deans, special invitees, professors, because I would like to call not staff as such, because I love the word professor. So, and my dear young entrepreneurs, students and change makers who would help shape our country and world at large. You know, I was asked to speak for 10 minutes, but let me tell you 3 important stories in the next 10 minutes. So as the intro says, something about compassion, love, empathy, challenges, hardships, every word, every adjective that you can think of kind of covered. It's a pleasure for a person like me to be attributed with those many adjectives, but back then it was not. You see, let me tell you, the first lesson that I've learned as a child is compassion is actually what makes you rich as a person. To that, the intro said the story about my parents. They exhibited exemplary way of showing compassion on a child who may be useful or who may not be able to do anything or who may not be able to carry on the lineage of their old parents. You see, when I was born, the term apple in the eye may have meant not much for them, I guess, because in South India, they have neither seen an apple nor seen a baby born with both the eyes closed. So in their lean business model, as Valluri spoke a lot about business, I didn't fit in because I cannot do anything. But yet, in spite of the whole world throwing challenges at them, they stood firm and said, look, we got this child as a gift from the God. Even though he's not helpful for anybody, let him sit at home so that he can hear the street dogs walking into the house, so that he can at least bother them. That means every person born in this world has some purpose. That is what we need to realize, my dear friends. We don't simply come here without a purpose. We come here for some purpose. I was born blind because I have to give light to the world. You see, many people ask me, do you have any vision? Even I'm sure you must have heard that same question, someone asking you, is it or not? So, but when they ask you, it's a little different, but when they ask me, it's a little different. They mean, do I see anything or not? But they don't know what it is. Let me clarify, vision is for the mind and sight is for the eye. Vision is within all of us, it is within the mind, but we have to realize it. Sight is something which is for the body. Whether if you have some help, escort, like Justin walking onto the stage, that's good enough. But if I don't have the basic vision, I cannot even walk onto the stage because I'm not fit to do that. And I may not even get the opportunity to walk on the stage. But if you have the opportunity, some will walk you over the stage. That is nothing but help. But here the vision is the basic building block of one's success and career. You see, God gives us starting circumstances, but we make our own destiny with just enough randomness to make things interesting and less predictable. The future is in our hands. Let me tell you. You see, the person working in a quarry from morning to evening is definitely working harder than any of us in this room, but her productivity is not enough to build something meaningful, or let alone bring herself out of poverty. This is where I tell you, exposure at the right age to right things is the most important thing. But without that exposure, all your hard work won't take you beyond breaking stones by hand all day. This is where academic institutions like St. Xavier's and the top schools, or whatever we call Ivy Leagues, can create that exposure in yourself so that you can be exposed to the world of opportunities. See, the secret of success is nothing but seeing yes wherever you look. You see, ground level is always filled with no-sayers, but as you grow higher, you will meet people who can believe anything is possible, and that's how they perceive the world. And that's when you will see nothing is impossible. And that is exactly what happened to me. In management institutions like these, you don't come here to learn differential equations or kinematic equations, right? You come here to learn the art of networking, art of communication, art of presentation, and art of knowledge. And that exposure is what makes you and prepares you to be a global leader. And this is why I tell you, if you have compassion, you can make people richer in this world. You cannot become rich by having lots of bundles of cash, no, but you can only become richer by having compassionate heart. Compassion doesn't mean rolling your car window and giving a 10 rupee coin to a beggar, no, that's just removing your guilt. Compassion is showing someone a sense of purpose and livelihood for them to live with meaning and dignity. That is what makes them rich. See, the second lesson I wish to tell you very quickly is how loneliness is actually the poverty. We all realize if someone asks us to write an essay writing and say, what is poverty? We will write pages and pages defining what poverty is. But in my opinion, poverty is not having box to eat or having no money to spend or not having meager 1 rupee of income in our pocket to cover for the transportation. No, nothing of that sort. It is the loneliness that makes you poor as a child. That is exactly what was happening to me when I was a child. When I was 6 years attending a government school far away from my village, nobody acknowledged my presence, nobody wanted to play with me. So I sat in the last bench wallowing in loneliness. Now that I remember, maybe Lord Gautam Buddha would have had similar experience when he got in Lumbini before he got enlightened. But as a 6-year-old, I wouldn't knew about all those mythological things, right? I would want to play with everybody, want to chill. But that was not happening. That was the first time in my life I realized that I was the poorest of the poor child in this world, because I was made lonely by the perceptions of the people, not due to the money or the richness that I became poor. This is why I decided that I should fight against this loneliness of poverty and make people happy and create happy communities for all of us to live in and bring India into a future where the inclusivity and the poverty is completely removed by making people happy. Finally, if you try to do something for someone, you will actually be the first beneficiary. That is what happened to me. When I started my company in 2012, I was the first employee of my company. I started my company with the bigger purpose of hiring people who are at the margins of the society, believing that when they join Bolla, they thrive and the company thrives too. With that, I also got my first bread, which is my first job. See, I am such a rebel, no one would employ me. That is why I became an entrepreneur. Even today, if you ask my father, what do you want to do? What do you want Srikanth to do? He would happily smile and say, I want him to get a government job and get married to a pretty girl. Getting married to a pretty girl was not a big challenge, as I had a lovely wife now over the last 2 years, but working for the government, working for someone else, let alone government, fills me with total dread. And that is why I became an entrepreneur. Finally, let me tell you, my dear friends, entrepreneurship is like a spiritual journey, yet it is a very lonely. Because most people do not understand why do we want to work so hard, take huge risks and put ourselves through a roller coaster. That means you should be ready to be sacrificed. But everything comes with a reward. The meaning of purpose, meaning of satisfaction, sense of relief when I see my workers running with a paycheck. And as an entrepreneur, you will have lovely period of your life, but at the same time, you will have the loneliest and the toughest and the gruesome period when you bootstrap, when you start up, when you bootstrap, and when you try to raise funds. You know, people like Mr. Valluri would want to extract pound of your flesh, which is nothing wrong from their end. But as an entrepreneur, you should be prepared to take pound of flesh from them, but you should retain your own pound of flesh. If you are resilient and hardworking, nothing in this world is impossible. Let me finally end up by saying, hardship is what makes you achieve anything possible. See, if you think outside the box and say, let the challenge come, let me take the challenge, work hard, and let the universe itself will conspire to help me succeed. And with that mindset, if you are there and work hard, and the whole universe will be yours, and everybody will be yours, and nothing can define you, or nothing can stop you from achieving your final goals. Again, it has been a lovely period spending little time with you all, and thank you for inviting me. Awards like this will inspires me to dream big, work hard, and let the universe help me to succeed. Thank you so much.